is the rest of the story. Now we have audio. Okay, this is good. Can we be quiet? The story so far is this, okay? I get pennied into the 3rd floor, right? I find a phone cable, and being mindful of this notion that when you are hanging on a cable, if you fall onto the cable, you can exert way more force than the weight, yeah? In fact, here's a better picture of that, right? Okay, so if I've got this mass on here, come on, go on there. Here we go, right? If it falls onto there, like that, right, it can exert way more force, and this is why climbing ropes are really quite strong, okay, because you fall some distance, and when you stop going down, you accelerate up, and when you accelerate up, you need more force than the weight, right? Okay, so I rappel on the phone cord, and that's all well and good, and I'm like this legend, right? And the cool thing was that I was going to Raiders of the Lost Ark, so it was perfect, right? It was like da 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 da. I run to the movie, I get there just as the credits are starting or something like that. Not the credits, but the title, right? Okay. Okay. Next spring, my roommate gets pennied into our room on the other side. Okay. My roommate he wore shorts all the time, even when it was 20 below out, and his legs were like turned red outside. Okay. He would donate his blood plasma to buy comic books. And he would read them once wearing white gloves and place them inside plastic sleeves. He had these ceiling-to-floor shelves made out of fruit boxes in our room. His entire half of the room was like a library. People would come in and read like Spider-Man or something like that, yes? Okay. He was also an economics major, not a physics major. And we had this parachute cord that was a 150-pound test. It is the lines that go from the harness to the shroud, the parachute itself, yes? Okay. The shroud lines are 150-pound tests, each of them. And there's many, many of those little shroud cords, right? We had that stuff, and he weighed 140 pounds. So he would routinely hang on parachute cord and go, look, it holds me up. Can I interrupt? Okay, it can hold me up. It's stronger than I weigh. Yes? Which 150-pound test means it's guaranteed not to break at above or below 150 pounds, right? Probably you can go up to 200 pounds, right? So he gets pennied into the 3rd floor. He decides to rappel out the window just like I did on parachute cord, right? And I'm sure that he was thinking something like this, right? I weigh 140, the parachute cord can withstand 150 pounds. That's 10 pounds of profit, right? He's an economics major, yes? But let's analyze the situation just a little more, right? You know? That's a good day for an economist, right? Okay, but apparently he hadn't gotten economists, by the way, do take calculus and hard math. That's why they get paid so darn much. Okay, and so if he'd gotten to the calculus part of that, he would have seen that, you know, if you, it's like, ooh, what was that force? Well, I don't know, it went way up there. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you probably, if you rappel, you go down and you go boom onto that thing, you're probably exerting at least 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times your weight on the cord. So the very first thing he does is he goes out onto the cord and goes boom, and it snaps just like that. He falls a full 2 stories, okay? Lands flat on his back. Now, it is not winter, so there is no cushioning snow. But it is May, and they have just tilled this flower bed, okay? There are many things that he could have hit. There was one of those fences with like the fleur-de-lis spikes on the top. He missed that by the way, a good 3 feet. There was a concrete bench. He missed that. He landed entirely in the dirt, leaving a cartoon-like imprint, just bam, compressing the soil to a depth of about 6 inches entirely across his body. And right here that he missed, and this thing was less than a foot from his body, was one of those sprinkler heads that like sticks up out of the ground like on a pipe. I think so, right? Besides having like bruised ribs and saying things like for like about 10 minutes, he was fine. He lived. It's like, so what should he have done?
At least more.
Yeah, either. Listen, guys. He should have either eased himself down, just gradually, not accelerated at all, or doubled the cord up. I'm thinking.